that song.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 1103. Hello, it's Mike Matthews broadcasting from Cafe Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, Mont, at the last place on earth. Today, we will hear from the Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, John Deere the Engineer. Plus, we'll bring you the return of the much-loved segment called the Daily Haley.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that lovely? Don't I have one of those isn't that lovely voices today?
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And I get up early. I probably think I've told you about that. And yesterday after work, I tried to take a nap on the couch at home in the dark with my dog. And every couple of seconds, my dog would be Agog and look at me and go, What are you doing here?
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Is Agog a word? I once heard that. Like, if your mouth is open
Mike's
and you're like, what the?
Daily
Your mouth's Agog.
Podcast.
That's not a thing, is it?
Yeah!
All right, well, whatever. Anyway, my dog would not let me take a nap. He just kept going like, there's stuff going on. And true, there was stuff going on outside my house. There's all kinds of street work happening. They decided to pick my street for some reason to start ripping the ground apart and going down there and looking for the mole people. I don't know what they do. But it has been a weird couple of 24 hours, I'll tell you, because down in Los Angeles, UCLA, you probably heard about the horrible thing that happened down there. When the whole crisis was happening, the students were told via text, I am told, they were told to stay in their rooms, in their classrooms, and lock the doors. But the interesting thing is, a lot of students could not lock their doors. So they ended up having to do things. One student took a foosball table and pushed it up against the door to bar the door, barricade themselves inside. Oh, and they were supposed to turn the lights off. So, for some reason, UCLA does not have very good door locking mechanisms. One of the things we found from this. And also that the texting thing apparently works really well. It notified all the students on campus practically about the situation. Ah, look who just walked in. Hello, guys. It's Chely Shoehart, the shop supervisor. I think Agog is something like that you worship. Agog? No. Is Agog something you take for a walk? Agog is just basically a good word to use that you make up if you're trying to rhyme something with dog. Why didn't you use frog? I don't know why I didn't use frog. Episode 1103. I don't have to explain myself. The other crazy thing, of course, that happened, I don't know if you heard, we're in Fremont right now. There's some weird stuff going on today. There's like a guy who had shot some policemen barricaded in a house somewhere. And one of the new guys that I work with, he had to go through a bunch of traffic to get here because of that situation. They shut down like a 1 mile perimeter. So, anyway, hopefully it's calm and peaceful where you are. Summer is here. It's hot in California. Hey, look who just walked in. Oh, Mike, it's Floyd the Floorman! And it's John Deere the Engineer. I hear you have a special guest on today's show. I do, John Deere. It's someone who hasn't been on yet. We'll find out who. In the Daily Haley. Mike, how do you keep a turkey in suspense? I'll tell you tomorrow. I don't understand that. There apparently Coke is making something new, some new product, or Coke has bought somebody. Or wait, no, there's a Budweiser made a new beer that's not. And that's all the news. Everybody, thank you. Mike'sDailyPodcast.com is where you can go to find out all the things happening with this show. It's sort of like a guide through the Mike's Daily Podcast universe and Cafe Anyway and all of that. You can find that at Mike'sDailyPodcast.com. And there's ways to help support the show through that. Like if you're going to shop on Amazon, click on that Amazon link and it'll help. Lincoln. You know, it's interesting. With the Kathy's Corner the other day, I noticed that I've only been to the theater like twice in the past like 5 years. And the only movies I've seen are Spielberg movies. And both of them were like Oscar nominated. There was the Lincoln and then Bridge of Spies. And I saw them both in the same theater. Is that the most wonderful life you've ever heard? What a strange coinkydink. And the fact that I just don't go see movies. I'd rather just watch them on Netflix or whatever. Lately, though, I've been all sucked into watching this horrible BBC detective show that makes me laugh because it follows these two older ladies solving crimes called Rosemary and Thyme. Oh, it's so funny and wonderful. And I watch it, and it's a horrible, nasty habit thing. It's a guilty pleasure. Thank you, BBC. That's where I go for my guilty pleasures. Some people watch FX. Some people, go online and do things. I watch Rosemary and Thyme on Netflix. Interesting. All right, now the return of the Daily Haley.
The Daily Haley. The almost Daily Haley.
So we're doing something different today. We're doing a Daily Haley where we follow Haley around his work. How are you today, Haley?
I'm discussing with my good friend Jarrell here about the Fanaway experience.
The Fanaway?
Fanaway.
And there's Jarrell laughing at him. Jarrell, you're on the podcast for the first time. How does it feel?
This is awkward because usually I'm behind a mixing console mixing for somebody else's podcast.
Ha! Joke's on you. You're still behind a mixing console.
Yeah, but I'm not operating it.
We're in a radio station right now, and that's where. Tell me a little bit about your job here at this radio station.
Tell me about you.
I'm pushing buttons, hoping something works. Probably a few times I said, "You hear anything yet?" They're like, "What?"
What happened this past weekend?
I was on vacation in the middle of nowhere.
You got to do some cool stuff at a big convention, and what was the main theme of this convention?
Oh, that. Yeah, their theme was martial arts this year. Thankfully, they did not kick anyone's butt.
Wait, really?
Yeah, there was. And thankfully, they did not have to kick anyone's butt, or at least not that I'm aware of.
Now, you and Haley both share a Fanamaniacs. You're both fans.
That should be a group name, the Fanamaniacs.
The Fanamaniacs. That's probably what the people that like Animaniacs call themselves.
But you both like Fanime is what I was trying to say. Wait, anime. What the heck? Wait, what is anime? Someone who wants that one? Raise your hand. Oh, okay. Haley, first time caller, last time listener.
I've never in my life seen a goddamn episode of anime, and I love it.
Really? You've never watched anime?
I've watched a very small amount of anime. I'm not a big fan.
How about you, Jarrell? What are some of your favorite animes?
I've totally lost track of how many animes I've actually watched, but one of my favorites is Gundam Seed, and another would probably be Sket Dance.
Gundam Seed has very large robots.
Oh, I like that, kind of like Robotech.
Yes, but they're fighting over the most ridiculous kind of concepts.
They're giant robots like Pacific Rim.
Oh, like Pacific Rim. That was a J.J. Abrams movie? No. What the other guy?
I don't know.
Michael Bay?
Was it Michael Bay?
Was it... Your phone just said, what? Or something like that.
Yeah, it does that in some of the most random times. But probably the best time when it actually does it when somebody says a really cool cap and leaving the target speechless, and then it just goes off with that noise.
Jarrell, I wanted to say, did you notice that I tagged you on Facebook, that girl that I had interviewed on this podcast, this very podcast? She dressed up like Sailor Moon for an anime thing up in Canada. And she's blonde, but she put on like a black wig. She's Anglo-Saxon, though. Wait, are the Sailor Moons Anglo-Saxons?
No, it depends on how you look at it. It's primarily Japanese, but they have English dubbing.
Oh, so who knows? Anyway, she's got big eyes, so she looked great in the Sailor Moon. And I wrote under her thing, "Hey, my friend Jarrell is doing an anime thing and she gave it a thumbs up."
Very nice. Nice to get some props on that.
You'll have to check her picture out. She sings country music, though.
I like country music.
She's got a pretty voice, a voice like an angel. Well, why did you walk all the way over there, Haley? You walked away from me. Don't walk away from me.
Exercise.
I'm generating content for my podcast by talking to you guys. And now I've stopped generating content.
Well, at that point, we'll do, since we're like the only people available. It's just like we'll do for the time being.
No, that's not. It's great to have you as a guest, Jarrell. I haven't had you on my podcast, and this is the first time.
Yes, it is the first time, and my heart is beating extremely fast. I have no idea what to say most of the time. That's why I'm on this side of the glass.
Isn't that weird? Because we are on the other side of the glass, and the people that do the shows are on the opposite side.
Yes, and they do all the talking, because I get worn out.
That's how it works.
You know, and we kind of sit there and think of everything from a technical angle, but they're trying to think of, what should I say next? I don't know. Let me look at the computer.
Blah, 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 real estate. Blah, blah, the market goes up and the market goes down. Blah, 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 money, 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 money.
Haley, that is exactly what goes through my head when I hear that stuff. That is just like Charlie Brown, like the adults on Charlie Brown. It's like it's just going through one ear and out the other, because I don't understand a darn thing they're saying.
Oh, hey, Sean heard the podcast.
Oh, no.
She heard the one that we were on. We tested that room the other day to show Marco how to do this.
She heard the worst podcast we've ever done.
I told her we were rushed because we did it in a 10-minute increment, whereas usually we kind of just go and ramble forever.
And ramble forever.
But, yeah, so she laughed. She thought it was funny.
Then it's good. If you got at least one person to laugh, it's good. I don't know if people are going to laugh at this one.
Drill, you're full of wit and humor, and you know everything from a technical standpoint. Like you have a picture on your computer of a guy lifting up an amp.
Now this is called an amp, and this is a guy, and you see how he's stepping forward, but he actually has it in his hands. That motion is called lifting.
Yeah, it's lift. So we're watching a guy. That's your, like, what do you call it? A desktop screen. That's very cool.
Is that what that is?
It's a wallpaper. It's a
wallpaper screen. What event was this one?
Oh, this was the Barry S. Art and Wine Festival. No, I did not drink on the job.
Oh.
I don't drink on the job. I'm working. I have to be sober.
That's, yeah. Even though there's a lot of temptation around you, but... we
won't get into that now.
And your anime conference was inside. That's great, because this past weekend got hot. Can you imagine doing that outside event you were just describing outside? That you would be.
Well, you ought to check out the cosplayers who hang out outside all the time just to get pictures.
Oh God!
But if you look at this is also a picture of the dance hall at this past weekend, and I actually designed that system to which it could literally handle anything you throw at it, and people just had an awesome time.
Oh, wow. Yep. You designed that.
Yeah, so what's happening, there are speakers hanging on what they call a truss. It's just a bunch of aluminum metal that's just arched across the stage, and then these speakers hang from these lifts, and they're able to provide a significantly well amount of coverage. Meanwhile, there are black boxes down the middle of the stage. Those are the ones that actually give you all that deep bass and really get your adrenaline going.
And that dance floor looks huge, and Haley's been doing a dance track in the background the whole time. Wow. Okay.
The tempo was a little faster than that.
And as I understand, that dance party went till like 5 a.m. or something.
Yeah, under nominal circumstances, between 6 p.m. and 4 a.m., if I remember correctly.
Oh my gosh, you weren't there that long though, were you?
Not at that particular location. I was handling other duties across the convention.
Yeah.
One of the people we record, he's actually like my age, ancient. He was all excited about some video he found on YouTube of a guy who would create dance tracks using his, he would do the beatboxing and then loop it and then do it all, and then he would add keyboard music over it and then sing and come up with songs off the top of his head.
Reggie Watts is a comedian who was actually the music person for the show that I like, Comedy Bang Bang, for quite a while, and he specializes in that. That's entirely what his live comedy bits are.
I know the genius of Reggie Watts, but I was talking, it's like some thin, little British kid doing it.
That sounds like Bill Wirtz.
That might be him. Anyway, sorry.
I think it's him.
Jarrell, that's an amazing set, and I would love a dance in my house. Or you know what? Actually, we're outside a cafe anyway. No, we're at the studio. Where am I?
Oh, that kind of system will get you shut down with multiple complaints before you even get started. That will get you complaints before you even get it put up.
So we could.
Also, it will get you $1 million in debt.
$1 million in what?
Dead.
Dead. Oh, dead.
Dead.
Oh, dead?
Dead.
Dead. Okay. Well, so we won't put one of those at cafe anyway. Well, whatever.
How big is the cafe?